And that's an interesting method that you can use later on when you're building your duct hatches as well. In projects where you have actual hatches or where you have cassette-like fan coil structures, because their place is fixed. For example, in a project you need 100 cassette-like fan coils or 100 air vents. You can do them easily using this method. So now I'll go back to this level here, the minus 2.1, where we're going to be doing the drawing together. Now, those who are mechanics themselves know about the operational level of this much better than me, and those who are specialized in architecture and structure can simply look up the net on, for example, how to implement fire extinguishing. Now we have different types of doing this, which you'll need to look up. Or if you have a friend who's a mechanic, you can definitely consult them in this area and get some suggestions that might help you to understand this part better. And another point is that when you do as many of these projects as possible, you can get the hang of it. Now, you may not be adept at the mechanical parts of this from the get-go, but you can easily do the modeling parts of it, and it doesn't hurt to have a mechanic by your side. So basically, try to get as much information as possible, but try to specialize in your own field as well. So I'll go over to the Systems tab and select the pipe tool. And then I can either select the black pipe from here, or we can go over here in the families. Now I'm expecting you to know about this already because it is one of the requirements of going through the course. And so we open up the pipe types and create a duplicate of the black pipe and name the new one, for example, fire protection. There we go, fire and then protection. Alright, so after we're done with that, you can double click on it to open up the type properties. Then here we have the routing preferences. The pipe segment itself is mentioned here, which is black pipe ISR 3360, and you can see the size on the right as well. Then we can click on the segments and size tool to open up the mechanical settings menu. Now the reason that this opens up is because we need to create a new type for it. So I'll open up the segments menu and put it on the black pipes that we had earlier, and the sizes which are displayed down here are okay as well. So I'll create a duplicate of this segment, put this on material and schedule type. Then we can go over to the schedule section and put in fire. We don't need to abbreviate it or put in a symbol, just the name will suffice. And then we can specify a material to it as well by selecting this option and then going through the material browser and selecting the create new material option. Right click on this, select rename and edit it to fire protection. Then we can go over to the identity tab and put the class under metal. Then we can also select it through this menu as well. Hit apply up to here, and then we can click on the replace option that we have down here on the left. Then we can type in iron in the asset browser to see what pops up. Open up the metal section. Now let's see what else we have over here. Alright, open up the metal down here and select this iron material and add it to the material browser. Alright, now we can also go back and change the material again, just so we have something that we can change the coloring on. This time we'll search for metals so we can get colored metal materials, such as this one over here. Now it's better not to select the ones that have the yellow triangle on the left here, because as it sells, for improved rendering, you should use a newer version appearance as asset instead of this one. The newer assets are the ones that don't have the yellow triangle. So the first aluminum one was okay, so we can replace it And although it says aluminium, but we can use it as metal as well. I'll check the use render appearance box, and under the appearance settings, I'll create a duplicate here, name this one fire protection. Then after doing that, we can hit apply and then OK here. And now we're dictating the program to get a copy of the settings that are based on the original black pipe segment. So as you can see, it has the same nominal and the ID information. Up here we have the segment description, which can be any description that you want, but I'll paste in fire protection for now. Fire protection wet. Then I'll hit OK. And then in the routing preferences menu, we just have to open up the pipe segments and fire the new segment that we created, the fire protection fire, this one, and add it here. We can keep the rest of the settings for now and then hit OK. Then finally OK here as well. And alright, we've managed to create our pipe here. Now we can go through the plan, which you can see, and the sizes here, as you may know, are listed as inches. Now first we have an issue that we need to discuss here before moving on. So when we're discussing facilities in Iran, we usually use two different units. In some instances, we use inches, and in other ones, we use millimeters. For example, if you go over to the water plan and the details, we can zoom in here so you can see the plan uses millimeters as its unit. Now this signifies that the pipe is actually 5 layers and it's 2 millimeters. But you may notice that in some other places we have the usage of inches. For example, the 1 inch that we have here, which may be metal pipes and so on. In other countries, they usually use 1 unit, either inches or millimeters. Now, because of this, Revit cannot handle 2 units at the same time in the same file. In order to prevent any issues and have them either as inches or millimeters, you'll need to distinguish them yourselves beforehand. For example, let's say we have a 5-layer pipe using millimeters as units. We can open up the project units as such, put the discipline on piping, and put the pipe size on millimeters. And in other instances, when you have inches, you'll need to change this to fractional inches so that you can convert the plan. Otherwise, you can work with the plan using 2 different units at the same time. It won't be an easy way of working the project. So now I'll go over here and select the pipe tool, and now you can see the number in the diameter field. Now when you do this conversion, you can see an issue like this pop up in the numbers. None of the numbers that are shown here are actually usable. For now, I'll return to the Manage tab and open up the mechanical settings, where we can select the segments and sizes and put the segments on. Although let's test something before we do this, because I've already shown this part. As you can see, the pipe is set on 5 layers. Let's select the fire protection that we created, and you can see the diameter fixed now. And the point that I needed to say was that I've already created the template here, and I've put it for your access as well. When you change the unit from millimeters to inches, you'll definitely see a structure like this in the numbers. For the types of pipes that need to be in inches, I definitely recommend you go over here in the mechanical settings on your templates, and for example, see the numbers here. Try to change them manually and convert them to inches yourselves. Based on the catalog chart, you can select the new size tool and you see the nominal diameter that you have here. This is the first one that you can see inside the chart, and then we have the inside and outside diameters. You'll need to change these before you can use the pipes yourselves. So I'll go over here and select the fire pipe. So for now, in order to demonstrate this part, we'll go through one pathway, which will be, let's see, here where we'll have the middle elevation set on 2.1, which we can change later on as well. So I'll start drawing the pipe itself using a diameter of 2.5. Now let's see what we have here. Alright, the pipe goes up to this point right here. Let's put the plan on fine settings, and then we'll just have to wait and see the command be applied. Then I'll select the pipe itself. Then I'll go down here to the mechanical section and put the system type on fire protection wet. And there we go. Then I'll go to the 3D view to see where this part is located. Alright, first I'll have to adjust the view. So let's lower the height and we'll try to get the view as neat as possible before, so we can get the work as light as possible, and then we'll be able to work with it much quicker and easier. So let's select this and bring it over here.